It is Rey Skywalker's Sunday morning. Come, let us meditate like a Jedi. This morning, let us play with the latest iteration of All Good One's Easy Meditation. If you are courageous, hearken back to those halcyon days of junior high, when a man with a beer belly, a baseball cap, and a whistle would scream at us to warm up, perform the task at hand, and then cool down. And that's an apt outline of what we're going to do this morning. The view of reality that supports letting go is known as the first fold of the Buddha's Eightfold Path. Therefore, we're now going to practice Mahayoga's wisdom warm-up. Please chant with me. Rather than indulge or controlling tendencies with our follies of active visualization, emotion, magic, and belief, we could just recite these wise words in harmony with our breathing and allow our subconscious to do the heavy lifting. Let us therefore sidestep the rigidity that confuses metaphors for statements literal, and relax into the flexibility that savors the chance explaining metaphors as similes. The Buddha was fond of organizing that which could be perceived into four categories: the circumstantial, the physical, the interpersonal, and the mental. This morning, let us begin with the circumstantial. You'll notice the first word in the sentence is may. This is not a prayer to real or imagined celestial entities. Rather, we are simply using words to guide our will. That's it. Let's chant. May we see how all circumstances or lots could be as impermanent and interdependent as if they could blissfully melt into rainbow light that could delightfully absorb into this body or form. We're going to use the verb melt as a metaphor of impermanence. We're going to use the verb absorb as a metaphor of interdependence. And just as some fight fire with fire, we are going to fight self-centeredness with self-centeredness. We're going to take all these words and coalesce them into just 6 syllables that we're going to divide between our inhalation and our exhalation. Please chant with me. May we feel how all bodies or forms could be as impermanent and interdependent as if they could blissfully melt into rainbow light that could delightfully absorb into this communicational speech. The first word may does not infer a prayer. We are simply using words to guide our intention. We now take all these words and coalesce them into just 6 syllables that we're going to divide between our inhalation and our exhalation. May we hear how all interpersonal speech could be as impermanent and interdependent as if it could blissfully melt into rainbow light that could delightfully absorb into this mind. In this exercise, not only are we going to explore impermanence and interdependence, but we're also going to dispel and confusion around emptiness. When we view emptiness as a literal phenomena, it's like running face first into a brick wall. But emptiness was always meant to be a figure of speech. And that is exactly what we're going to explore momentarily. May we feel how all perceiving, emoting, intending, thinking, recalling, and imagining minds could be as impermanent and interdependent as if they could blissfully melt into rainbow light that could delightfully absorb into our vast empty void. Like the illusion of the infinite azure sky on a bright and beautiful cloudless morn, which although tantalizing to the eye could be not graspable to the hand. We now turn to the 7th and 8th folds of the Buddha's Eightfold Path, Hatha Yoga's mindfulness and meditation, after approximately 30 seconds of housekeeping. This is Lama Jigme Gyatso of the Buddha Joy Meditation School. For more than 30 years, I've spent about 8 hours a day, almost every day, studying, practicing, mastering, and reverse engineering the teachings and techniques of each school of meditation so that you would not have to. Welcome, my friends, to meditate like a Jedi, which is made possible due to the generosity of viewers just like you. Let us now continue with this morning's practice. Hatha Yoga is the energy work that supports meditation. Mudra refers to using gestures or finger positions to help with that energy work. Towards that end, we're going to use 4 different knuckles to help us gather 4 collections. And let me make sure that the camera's going here. Okay, so we're going to use our 4 knuckles to help us keep track of the 4 collections of our left hand's 8 sets, of our right hand's 12 rounds that we advance during each inhalation. Towards that end, to keep track of our first collection, let's try this again. To keep track of our first collection of 8 sets of our right hand's 12 rounds, we could rest the great knuckle at the base of our right little finger upon the tip of our left little finger in our lap. As we relax into our exhalation, whatever lower abdomen we might have noticed during our previous in-breath could now begin to feel as if it was as non-graspable as a real or imagined syllable ah, comprised only of green light. Well, we've discussed the finger placements of Anu Yoga. So let's get now to Hatha Yoga. How does that work? What if mindfulness was simply vulnerably, passively, viscerally, randomly, and fleetingly noticing mind's antics of perception, emotion, intention, thought, and memory, and imagination. The easiest way to facilitate that would be to silently, mentally, and passively recite the demonstrative pronoun this during each inhalation. Doing so would induce our cerebral cortex to cooperate with the sympathetic nervous system, which is in charge of this stuff. What if meditation was simply relaxing into mind's non-graspable nature? How would we facilitate it? By silently, mentally, and passively reciting the one-syllable verb ease during each exhalation, thus inducing our cerebral cortex to cooperate with our parasympathetic nervous system. Which has evolved to support both physical relaxation as well as mental release. How does that play out? Simply this. As we relax into our exhalation, whatever we noticed during our previous inhalation could begin to feel less solid, less permanent, and less defining, at least momentarily. It's just that simple. Good morning and welcome to this morning's practice. So, to keep track of our second collection of our left hands, 8 sets, of our right hands, 12 rounds, that we advance during our inhalation, we're going to set or rest the great knuckle at the base of our right ring finger upon the tip of our left ring finger, with both these hands palms up in our lap while our thumbs happily count creases. As we relax into our exhalation, whatever navel region we might have noticed during our previous inhalation could begin to feel as if it was as non-graspable as a real or imagined syllable traum comprised only of gold-colored light. What if mindfulness was simply simply vulnerably, passively, viscerally, randomly, and fleetingly noticing the antics of mind as it perceives, emotes, intends, reasons, recalls, and imagines? We could facilitate that by silently, mentally, and passively reciting the demonstrative pronoun this during our inhalation, thus inducing our cerebral cortex to cooperate with our sympathetic nervous system, which is in charge of such things. What if meditation was simply relaxing into mind's non-graspable nature? How could we facilitate that? By silently, mentally, and passively reciting the one-syllable verb ease during each exhalation, we would induce our cerebral cortex to cooperate with the parasympathetic nervous system that has evolved to support both physical relaxation as well as mental release. Returning to mudra on the yoga's energy work. We keep track of our third collection of our left hand's 8 sets, of our right hand's 12 repetitions, wherein we advance our right thumb during each inhalation. By resting the great knuckle at the base of our right middle finger upon the tip of our left middle finger in our lap, whilst our thumbs happily count creases. As we relax into our exhalation, whatever heart we might have noticed during our previous inhalation could begin to feel as if it was as non-graspable as a real or imagined suitable whom comprised only of of blue lights. What if mindfulness was simply vulnerably, passively, viscerally, randomly, and fleetingly noticing the antics of mind's perceptions, emotions, intentions, thoughts, memories, and imaginings? It could best be practiced by silently, mentally, and passively reciting the demonstrative pronoun this during each inhalation, thus inducing our cerebral cortex to cooperate with our sympathetic nervous system in charge of such things. What if meditation was simply relaxing into mind's non-graspable nature? And what if we accessed that simply by silently, mentally, and passively reciting the one-syllable verb ease during each exhalation, thus inducing our cerebral cortex to cooperate with our parasympathetic nervous system, which has evolved to support both physical relaxation as well as mental release? And what if doing so could help us to, at least momentarily, experience all that we had perceived during our previous inhalation as being less solid, less permanent, less defining? In order to keep track of our fourth collection of our left hand's 8 sets and our right hand's 12 repetitions that we advance during each inhalation, we can rest the great knuckle at the base of our right index finger upon the tip of our left index finger in our lap, such that each hand's palms are facing upward and each hand's thumbs can happily count creases. With the knuckle, with our hands thus situated, as we relax into our exhalation, whatever crown of our head we might have noticed during our previous inhalation can now feel as if it was as non-graspable as a real or imagined syllable Om, comprised only of white light. What if mindfulness was vulnerably, passively, viscerally, randomly, and fleetingly noticing mind's antics of perception, emotion, intention, reason, recollection, and imagination? And what if it was most easily accessed by silently, mentally, and passively reciting the demonstrative pronoun this during each inhalation? What if meditation was simply relaxing into mind's non-graspable nature by silently, mentally, and passively reciting the one-syllable verb ease during each exhalation, such that as we relax into our exhalation, whatever we noticed during our previous inhalation can begin to feel less graspable, less permanent, and less defining, at least momentarily. We now switch gears from silent meditation to mantra meditation. So let's begin by reviewing the meaning or a meaning of this 12-syllable mantra. Every Lama basically has his own way of explaining it. Please chant with me. I invoke teachers om action, on meditation, and whom view that the Benzatantric. Guru teaches Pema, enlightenment, and siddhi abilities, whom may be mastered by all. So here's how the mantra meditation works. During the inhalation, silently and mentally and passively we recite, relaxing into this. During the exhalation, we physically relax as best we can into the recitation of this 12-syllable mantra. Let's try this again. During the exhalation, we physically relax as best we can, while striving to chant this 12-syllable mantra 3 times per breath. Together. Om Mahum Benzo Guru Me Maziri Hum. 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 As we relax into our exhalation, whatever duality of happy memories or painful memories we perceived during our previous inhalation could relax into the simplicity of just memories as we exhale. Let us rest the great knuckle at the base of our right index finger upon the tip of our left index fingers, which correlates with the crown of our head. Om Mahum Benzo Guru Me Maziri Hum. 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 Let us rest the great knuckle at the base of our right middle finger, which correlates to our heart, with the tip of our left middle finger. Om Mahum Benzo Guru Me Maziri Hum. Om Mahum Benzo Guru Me Hum. Om Ahum Benzo Guru Me Mazeri 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 Hum. Let us rest the great knuckle at the base of our right ring finger, which correlates to our navel region, upon the tip of our left ring finger, and then rest both these hands palms up in our lap. Om Ahum Benzo Guru Me Mazeri Hum. 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 Let us rest the great knuckle at the base of our right little finger. That correlates with the secret wheel or lower abdomen. With the tip of our left little finger, and rest both these hands palms up in our lap. Om Ahum Benzo Guru Me Mazeri Hum. 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 We began with wisdom warm-ups. Our main practice was both silent and then mantra meditation. And now we turn our attention to Mahayoga's compassionate cool down. For loving kindness comprises 50% of the Buddha's Eightfold Path. Please chant with me. Rather than indulge all controlling tendencies with the follies of active visualization, emotion, magic, and belief, we could just recite these kind words in harmony with our breathing and allow our consciousness to do the heavy lifting. Let us therefore sidestep the rigidity that confuses metaphors or statements literal, and relax into the flexibility that savors the chants explaining metaphors as similes. And now we're going to play with 4 of those chants. The Buddha was fond of bringing bringing love into the 4 bases of mindfulness. And that's what we're going to do right now. Actually, it's the other way around. Bringing the 4 bases of mindfulness, the mental, the interpersonal, the physical, and the circumstantial, into the path of loving kindness. So let's begin. By the way, the word may here is just our way of using words to guide our intention. May all minds of all beings know be as peacefully enlightened as the mind of a real or imagined Buddha symbolized by a tikle one suitable seed or bija mantra. Let us rest the great knuckle at the base of our right little finger that correlates to the lower abdomen. To the tip of the left little finger, and rest both these hands, palms up in our lap. Om Ahum Minzu Guru Me Maziri Hung. Om Ahum Minzu Guru Me Maziri Hung. Om Ahum Minzu Guru Me Maziri Hung. Remember, it's crucially important to relax as best as you can while chanting this 12-syllable mantra. Om Ahum Minzu Guru Me Maziri Hung. 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 The mental morality of kind intention is the second fold of the Buddha's Eightfold Path. Together. May all relationships, all speech of all beings known be as joyfully loving as a real or imagined Buddha speech symbolized by a multisyllabic mantra. Please rest the great knuckle at the base of your right ring finger, the same ring finger that correlates with your navel chakra. Upon the tip of your left ring finger, and rest both these hands palms up in your lap. Om Ahum Minzu Guru Me Maziri Hung. 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 The interpersonal morality of kind communication is the third fold of the Buddha's Eightfold Path. Together. May all bodies or forms of all beings now enjoy the beautiful health represented by Buddha's statuary, depicting the blissful body of a real or imagined Yadam archetype of enlightenment such as Kuntu Zangpo. Please rest the great knuckle at the base of your right middle finger to the tip of your left middle finger, the same middle fingers that correlate to your heart, and rest both these hands palms up in your lap. Om Ahum Minzu Guru Me Maziri Hung. 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 Om Mahum Benzo Guru Me Mazuri Hun. 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 The physical morality of kind conduct is the fourth fold of the Buddha's Eightfold Path. This is our last set this morning, this early morning, so please make it count together. May all circumstances or lots of all beings now have the safe fortune or boon. As a Buddha's real or imagined paradise, pure land of Bhakti. Let us rest the great knuckle at the base of our right index finger upon the tip of our left index finger, both of which correlate to our crown, the crown of our head. Rest both these hands palms up in our lap. Om Mahum Benzo Guru Me Mazuri Hun. 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 The circumstantial morality of kind commerce is the fifth fold of the Buddha's Eightfold Path. If you feel that I have earned it, you could give this live stream a thumbs up. You could even help support this channel. In approximately 10 3/4 hours, I would very much like to return to lead today's evening meditation and group practice. I should say evening meditation class and group practice. And if you are as geeky as me, may the Force be with you always.